The most English-looking of schools provided the backdrop for an important chapter in American history. In wartime Bristol, Clifton College's schoolboys had been evacuated. The ancient corridors rang not with the sounds of British children, but US soldiers. Seen here on the front line, General Omar Bradley, the Commander-in-Chief of the American Ground Forces, moved into the empty school with his top brass. They came to plan D-Day.
Clifton was right at the heart of hugely important historical events.
The lesson for today, history. Its subject, what happened here 75 years ago.
I always feel like history is so far away, but then it becomes quite weird and almost surreal when you realise it's so close to where you are every day.
You're walking around the school where the US Army soldiers planned the D-Day landings, the fact that they were predominantly planned in the library and in the council room, and that's where I go every day, and the fact that you know that they had all their maps out and were planning, it's very interesting.
I don't think it's very wide knowledge around Bristol, but I think people will be really excited to hear about it because a lot of people drive past here quite a lot and know of the school, so they would be connected to it as well.
Interesting, knowing that people who were involved in wars and all were here, and how everything is different since then, and how sometimes I just think about how it would have been different if I was there, what things I could have done, or how I would have reacted.
This room was used for the detailed planning of...
Europe was overwhelmed by fascist forces. Gaining a toehold against the Germans needed thought, and that happened here.
Original planning obviously would have been which beaches to use, and so a lot of intelligence would have been to do with the tides and the suitability of actually getting off the beaches and getting inland. And then, of course, it's down to the actual really much more detailed planning, which was how many men you'd put in a sort of landing craft, and how much equipment they needed to have with them. And that all was that was all done here as the plans began to take shape. Much of the logistical planning was actually done through in the library.
Yes, where today pupils work and revise, back in 1943 and 1944, real-life war games were being played, tactics to defeat Hitler. Every day, in what they call the crow's nest, intelligence reports would be wired from wartime codebreakers at Bletchley Park. American GIs were stationed nearby and played baseball on Clifton's grounds. Queen Mary even visited for one match. Troops paraded down Park Street, turned the college's assembly room into a mess hall. They played Santa to Bristolian children. In this photo I found in the US archives, a soldier from New Jersey dances a jitterbug with a Bristolian named Pamela Jones at a school event. Still today, around every corner, there are relics of Clifton's past. This unassuming table perhaps looks like many other old pieces of furniture. It's used in a meeting room here at Clifton College every day. And it is, in fact, the very table which was used by General Omar Bradley and his team in late 1943, early 1944 to plan the D-Day invasions. It used to sit in what is today the library's reception. When the school clock was repaired recently, they found the last man to do it was an American soldier in 1943. He signed his name. No one knows the fate of Technical Sergeant Donald Trentland. Omar Bradley returned after the war, a guest of honour for a prize giving. The American link continues today.
Jack was a nimble, Jack was a bean. He scrambled up the mighty beam.
Children in the prep school practiced drama in front of the flag, which flew here in wartime. The future American President Dwight Eisenhower gifted the school a signed book as thanks for its role. To many students, D-Day is something from the textbooks. In this school, it exists not only on library shelves, the history is all around. Robert Murphy, ITV News, Clifton College.